So I found out recently that South Park took some influence from the Nintendo game Earthbound, which is wild. I knew Matt and Trey were big on gaming, but that one's kind of a deeper cut. Even though I have fond memories of playing the South Park games on my Nintendo 64, and I genuinely had fun throwing Terrence and Phillip fart grenades in multiplayer because I was in kindergarten. Don't ask me why I was in kindergarten watching South Park. Admittedly, South Park had kind of a rough start on the gaming front if we're keeping it a buck, but given Matt and Trey's love for games, they kind of made a comeback with Stick of Truth and Fractured But Whole. I remember a time when licensed games spelled absolute garbage 99% of the time, but that doesn't seem to be the case anymore, at least not as much as it used to be. These are genuinely good games, but they also uphold the humor that makes the show great. It got me thinking about South Park's video game lineup and how despite having some bangers, they could be doing even more with the franchise, I think. And I want to talk about some of the genres they haven't tackled yet and how they can be implemented with that classic South Park charm. What's poppin', y'all? I'm Michael, and this is Go Play Hero. So the first one that came to my mind was a South Park fighting game, specifically a 2D anime fighter made like an Arc Sys game. And I want everyone to be in their anime style, like in Good Times with weapons. Bro, think about all the characters we have never seen in this style. It's never made a comeback other than this episode. I gotta see it. And looking at how dope everyone looks in the new Tokon Marvel fighter that they're making, I would love to see them take something as goofy as South Park and see what they can do with it on the design front. For the roster, obviously you have everyone from the episode, the four boys, Butters, and Craig's crew. I think they should probably even go by their made up ninja names. Like, I want to be a Black Chaku main. But some potential characters I think they could add are like Timmy, Wendy, Bebe, Tweak, maybe throw in Scott Malkison or Ike or something. And I think even some characters you wouldn't expect, like Kyle Schwartz. We haven't really seen him too much outside of the games in a while. Tally would be fun. And yeah, you gotta do Crab Person. For sure. Of course, I would fully expect DLC and season passes. This show's lineup is huge. They could honestly keep it going for a hot minute if they chose to do so. They showcase plenty of moves everyone could already use in the show, including turning people into chickens. I'm thinking this should be Cartman's ult for sure. Another ult should be Kenny throwing the ninja star, but when he does, it changes to the South Park art style like it did with Butters, but like it does it for every character once it hits. Of course, I'm sure there's new stuff that they could add. South Park has already shown to have a knack for blending their humor with game mechanics in the RPGs, so I'm imagining that they come up with some funny movesets for everybody, but just cranked up to 11 in that over-the-top anime style. Lots of costume options too. Keep it within the ninja anime aesthetic, but can you imagine like Balrog dressed in a Japanese style version of Cartman's cop outfit, or give all the boys ninja versions of their finger bang uniforms, stuff like that. That'd be dope. Also, low-key, give me a Japanese voice option too. It would be a nice touch if we maybe got some of the Japanese voice actors to reprise their roles, or given that Trey Parker actually knows Japanese, maybe he could dub at least some of his characters in Japanese and in English. Lastly, I need more bops like Let's Fighting Love in here. Full orchestration, just give it to me. Speaking of bops, South Park has so many songs. It's practically begging for a rhythm game at some point. You're probably thinking to yourself, yeah, they've got songs, but I don't know, enough for a game. But like, no, bro, really? They have a lot of songs, not even counting covers and licensed music. This show is just filled with original tracks. They did a live concert recently, and it doesn't even scratch the surface. Some of the shorter songs may need extended versions or rearrangements and stuff like that, but other than that, they've got a strong, extensive library to work with for sure. Maybe throw in some Team America tracks in there, maybe some Book of Mormon if they can swing it. Not necessary because they have to have at least like 100 songs by now, probably more, but if they could swing it with the rights, they would be cool bonuses to have. And if they could get some covers, especially like Cartman's Poker Face, Come Sail Away, Heat of the Moment, that'd be pretty cool. And making some of these songs playable in the first place can be kind of a joke in and of itself. Like, imagine doing the Imagination Land song, just off-key vocals, no rhythm, no background music, just trying to keep up with the absolute nonsense of what that song is. Imagination, imagination. I don't think they need to do anything crazy with the gameplay. Keep it fairly simple. Nice $30, $40 game. Throw it on Steam or something. All right, now I need y'all to hear me out for this next one. I think they should take another crack at a kart racer. I know, South Park Rally wasn't the best. I owned it on 64. 64. Okay, I get it. I don't think they should just do that again, but I think the idea of a South Park kart racer done right is actually fun. It's just all in the execution. One thing I did like about South Park Rally at the time was just the size of the roster. This game had 35 characters, which despite the quality, it's pretty impressive for the time. You got a really nice lineup for the early seasons of South Park. For perspective, Mario Kart 64 had 8, which, you know, they were probably more focused on making a good game, but still, we love a good lineup. And that's the thing though, look at this lineup. When's the last time we saw like half of these characters in any meaningful capacity? If you were born post-Clinton administration, you might not even know who some of these characters are. I'm not saying all these characters should totally get the boot. I would actually love to see some of these picks return. They'd be cool, deeper cuts at this point for longtime fans. And it's something that I wish Mario Kart would do more, honestly. But bro, this was 24 seasons and I don't even know how many specials ago. The amount of character and track potential we've gotten since then is insane, and because you don't need to give everyone in-depth movesets, you can add pretty much anybody that you want. Just put everybody in. I'm not gonna sit here and name all the potential roster candidates because I would literally just be listing everybody. For vehicles, you could get Timmy with his handy car, Gerald in a hybrid, maybe Garrison on an it bike. Come on, man. The tracks in the original were pretty bare bones, mostly because the show just hadn't established too many notable locations yet at that point. I think we could do better than City, Forest, and Volcano. What y'all think? Got Soto Sopa, Casa Bonita, Cartman Land, Aspen, Pee-Pee's Urin World, City of Relay. I don't know how to say that. The Cthulhu Dimension, whatever. So many. And just as a joke, throw in the only road in Canada where you just drive straight down one road, passing by all the Canadians. See, it's funny because you just drive in a straight line. See, the joke is in the absurdity of how ridiculous that is. I respect that they wanted to do something different with the whole checkpoint system in Rally, but just don't. Just get to basics, make it Mario Kart, but with South Park. So a few years back, I actually played through all the 2D Metroid games, and like most people, I had one thought and one thought only. Getting real Lemi Winks vibes here. Yes, I'm proposing we get a Lemi Winks style Metroidvania or a Lemi Winks roguelike dungeon crawler. Like, it just makes sense. His whole thing is that he's basically crawling through a dungeon if that dungeon was Mr. Slave. Even the way the quest is laid out for him sounds like the setup for a video game.
To escape, you must journey upward through the dark reaches of the intestine and past the stomach.
He gets a torch helmet to help light his way. This is just like many dungeon-y games, how you get certain items to help you along the way, solve puzzles you weren't able to before, cryptic riddles and puzzles, power-ups, hidden treasures, secret pathways, but obviously South Parkified by being inside a person's body. We don't know what happened with Lemi Winks after he killed his brother. I love how I'm saying this as if it's like real serious lore. Like, this is so stupid. Anyway, sorry. There's plenty of room for adventures. He's the Gerbil King. That's all I can say. Finally, one that will almost definitely never happen in a million years, but I'm gonna throw it in here anyway. I want a Chin Pokemon clone. I want to be the very best with Penguin and Shoot. There are like 3 hurdles preventing this from being a thing. For starters, no pun intended, the Pokemon Company would definitely come down hard on this game if it ever did get made. They already had the whole Pal World lawsuit. They got on them for certain mechanics like riding the pals. Pretty sure Game Freak doesn't have a patent on rideable creatures and animals in video games, but okay, whatever. But they also just got on them for some of the designs being clearly "we got Pokemon at home" coded. Although that was kind of the whole point of the game, its initial hook was somewhat of a parody, being touted as Pokemon with guns, but the Pokemon Company did not care. They still went after them anyway. And some of the Chin Pokemon are clearly referencing real Pokemon, parody or not. You got Ferrosnarf as Jolteon, Furry Cat as Meowth. There's a bunch of them. The other problem is the name. I don't know if you know what this name means translated into English, but this could be a hard sell for Japanese audiences with this just plastered on the covers of a fairly big AA release. I'm not gonna say what the translation is. You can go go Google it yourself. And the other hurdle is that Chin Pokemon is an old episode airing all the way back in season 3 and hasn't played a prominent role in the show since, barring some small cameos here and there. Although they did make somewhat of a comeback, they're collectibles in the Stick of Truth, and they even designed a bunch more just for this game. I actually had not seen all these before making this video, and some of them are just, they're just brilliant. Velociraptor is my favorite by far. Amazing pun, amazing wordplay. Biebersaurus left me speechless. Like, that name just really threw me off guard. And he's literally just Dino. Like, I think they may have just traced this, to be honest. Is Bongai just Bonsley? Or Bonsly? Is it Bonsly? It's Bonsly. Bro, I didn't even realize that. I need this game. I need this game to happen. Not just in Stick of Truth, but in Fractured But Whole, they have Chin Pokemon Go. So clearly they're still around and keeping up with the times in South Park. And again, given that they already made a bunch of new designs for the games, I don't know. I think it'd be pretty great. Just looking at the list of Chin Pokemon, I would really love to see what other atrocities they could come up with, and just think of the move sets, man. I think for the gameplay, just make it a parody of the traditional classic Pokemon style. Red and blue, gold and silver, ruby sapphire, that type of thing. Pixelated, top down, and they already have the characters from the Chin Pokemon anime, this blonde Ash ripoff and this Timu James over here. You play as the blonde Ash, travel the world to complete the primary objective, which is, of course, to destroy the evil power, naturally. Catching Pokemon is turned into buying Chin Pokemon, and the bike for Bicycle Road is replaced with the wild, wacky action bike. Hell yeah. Throughout the game, you just have this Japanese World War II propaganda woman pop in out of nowhere at completely random times, just like the show. Thing is, since you're getting the full Chin Pokemon experience, it does get darker the further you progress. The propaganda gets more and more blatant, or they could just keep it Chin Pokemon the whole time. Honestly, I don't care. I need this game. Of course, this is a Pokemon parody, so it does need 2 versions. I propose douche version and turd version. Create brand new, original, legendary douche and turd Chin Pokemon for the box cover art, and we're in business. I don't know if they could technically do that either. I'm not sure if that's allowed, but that's what I want. And that's all I got for you guys today. What did you think of this lineup? Would you cop any of these games? And are there some ideas that I may have missed? Integrity Farms, farming sim, maybe? Everybody loves Integrity Farms. You can also check out a vid I did for the roundtable where I discussed the darkest endings in South Park history. But that's it for this one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace and hair grease.